no matter how hard things get. Generations of Igbo people are known to never give up and to succeed against all odds. But must Igbo suffer to succeed? Today, we look at struggle and success with the eyes of the youth. What is the most devastating experience you've had on this journey?
I met a millionaire or a billionaire whom I felt that he will understand the plight and key into this. And after spending a lot of time trying to get him to understand this, he got me back to how he started, how he suffered, and how he is where he is today without any help. That other people should go and struggle and come up. I couldn't sleep that night because of that war mentality I talked about, that everybody needs to struggle and get to where you want to be, which is very, very different from what we see, where there's an intentional mentorship to get people to the next level.
So your greatest pain is that succession planning, developing the next generation, providing
being
the intentional
about their growth.
Yes,
No,
is not there. Let's be honest. We can't build a strong community if every new generation has to start from nothing. While we ask the successful ones, who have you trained? Who have you supported? We must ask the young ones, who is your mentor? Who are you obeying?
I met someone December last year and was telling me how much he has invested on the younger brother. I've given this guy 1 million, I've given him 2 million to do something. He will come back and say the money is finished. And I told him, you are the problem. Stop blaming the young person. You are the problem. That is the Igbo mentality again. I feel that once I give you 1 million, it is a must that you succeed. I've done my own part to give you 1 million, go and succeed. How you succeed, I don't want to know. My own is to give you money. And don't come back to me and tell me that money has finished. Or you misuse the money because I'm not going to give you again. It's a very wrong approach to development for young people. Value orientation is very, very key. Our young people grew up hating the system, not believing in the system, because the system has failed their generations. Once you bring entity, they don't want to hear. So what they're looking for, what is the quickest and fastest way to make money?
So they get into the system to extract.
Just to extract. So they don't care what happens in the system. They don't care that I could extract and this system crumbles.
They don't care.
They just want to grab. The truth about the matter is that the Southeast, we've had a lot of challenge. Okay, and still having challenges.
Yeah.
But it's not as big as, especially those outside. When they, I don't know how they get information before us. Sometimes you see information, sometimes before you are here,
yes,
someone will call you from US or you guys say, see what is up? I said, but I'm here now. But I'm here. He said, no. He's telling me it's all over the media space.
The digital world is the new frontier of Ndigbo. Every fake post and recycled tragedy sent out just to attract clicks is a stone thrown at our own progress. Igbo is a land of giants. Let our stories reflect our heights.
A lot of young people have ideas and have genuine things they are doing, but need support, especially from our brothers and sisters out there.
Yeah, overseas.
Why are we not setting an enterprise fund to build entrepreneurs? Even if it comes as a grant, why are our people not coming together? Probably people in a particular, let's just start from a community. People in a particular community abroad, set up a trust fund just for enterprise development. 20 million, 30 million, just set it up. And say, if you go through these processes,
thorough process,
you can access this money to build your business. As small as 500,000 Naira can do a lot of changes in a business in a rural community.
Wow.
If given to the right person that has the right information and the right training. Your field today is to embrace entrepreneurship. That is just it. Skills. Let our young people go and learn skills. Let's find they were not just learning skills and dropping them, they've learned skills. So that is what we are working on. And fundamental is spread across 6 pillars. Number 1, and the most important of it, is to create a database. Create a database of it. So we don't have a database. There's no database in the Southeast. There is no agency, no government organization that has a complete database of SMEs in the Southeast. That was the first problem I said we are going to solve
it. Yes.
Started just about 2 weeks ago. We've not publicized it. I just gave some ecosystems partners. Said, let's look at this. How do you feel? Let's get the feel from our people. In less than 2, we've gotten over 600 that's registered on our platform. The second one is to build the enterprise capacity of this business.
The capacity building.
Capacity building on this enterprise. Now, once you get their data, you build their capacity. You do SME clinics, you do trainings. change their mindsets. Very, very key.
Yeah.
Change their mindset to start accepting these opportunities.
Yes.
To start
to let them see that there are friends out there.
Exactly. These are friends.
There are opportunities out there.
And they are there genuinely to help you.
Yes.
So that's the second phase. Then the third phase of the program is after building them now, you make them to be competitive.
Okay. To understand competitiveness.
Yes. That this same business, fashion design you are doing here, there's somebody that is doing it in Lagos.
Yeah.
Compare yourself with the person and know where you are.
Yeah.
Compare yourself with the other person that is doing the same business in Port Harcourt.
Yes. China, London.
Look at it.
Everywhere.
Yeah, look at it. What are you going? So we raise that consciousness. You need to compete. You need to now structure what you are doing. Now we give them also access to growth.
Open them up to opportunities. Growth and
opportunities.
Yeah.
Then after putting them up there, you now connect them to international, global. The person in Lagos connects with you.
So network linkages.
There's linkages. Then we now come to the fourth one now, which is the policies of governments.
Understanding government.
Where is government coming in all of this?
Yeah.
Okay. The policies of government, are they favorable for SMEs across the Southeast?
What can we do about it?
In terms of tax, in terms of favorable policies.
Yeah.
If it's not, can we come to a round table and talk about it?
Good. And engage government.
And tell them, look at what we feel
you should do for us.
We are suggesting you should do for us.
Yes.
So we take it up on a regional scale.
Fantastic.
So now the fifth one again, we'll now talk about access to finance, what development
money
partners that are coming in money. How do they get money?
Yeah.
How do they get money? Who are the funding partners? Is there any program from governments? Is there any program from
development agencies? Partnerships among yourselves. In financial institutions.
Exactly. So what are you bringing to the table? If you are bringing this amount, okay, we're going because we have a database. That's why data is number one.
You know who is
where. So we know who is where that could actually pick this opportunity.
Yes.
I have this money for the fashion industry. Okay. We have someone doing Akwete in Abia State that could take this money. Come and apply for this.
Yes.
We have a fashion Ngozi or Amaka in Anambra is doing well. That young man in Umunze that also needs money to now scale. Yes. Come and take this opportunity. So we able, because we have data, we could be able to place opportunities at their doorstep. But the sixth one is now to create an institutional framework that will build the economy of the Southeast.
Man, now you are kicking the thing off.
So with all this in place, we are building an institution that will grow the economy of the Southeast.
Wow. Chinemerem is telling us that complaining about joblessness is a dead end. Creating institutions is the way out. To do that, we need data-driven training, competitive edge, and bold financial policies. True development happens when our raw emotion is harnessed into a disciplined, unstoppable system of growth.
Because you see a Southeast now that's connecting with opportunities across the globe, connecting opportunities, drawing networks, drawing collaborations, and speeding up. If you want to give somebody 1 million, bring out 100,000, 200,000, let the person go and get trained. Let there be a process. I did it with one of my friends that he was. I said, don't give this guy money. Channel the money to our academy. You want to give the person money, channel the money to our academy, pay for mentorship, and tell the person that if he graduates, there's a 1 million Naira fund that this will give him. That guy is doing very well right now.
Wow.
Because he had to subject himself to training and mentorship.
Yes.
And came out. When all that money was handed over to him, he saw reasons to use the money effectively. That is where I'm calling our people in the diaspora to look at, to invest in the region. That is how to cope. A lot of young people, we are hungry to explore, to share our passions, to use our passions effectively, but there's no mentorship. One of the greatest things we need to do and sponsor in the Southeast is value reorientation for young people. We should be intentional. Not just going to TV or going to... We should drive structure it down to the grassroots. Appreciating culture. Our cultures are gone. There's nothing like respect. You see a young person talk to an elder, the basic cultural heritage that we have as Ndi Igbo is lost. Trust. Business is all about trust.
Yes.
Me and you, we do business. The culture we grew up from is that you don't need anybody to tell you that your word is your bond.
Yes.
Like you said, Ofono.
Yes. This is a heartbeat of Igbo land. No empire can stand on the shifting sands of broken promises. If we are to keep excelling at the global stage, Ndi Igbo must resurrect the sacred code of trust. Let us return to ancestral values of integrity, responsibility, and dignity embodied in the names we carry. Ofodo Ogu, knowing as our ancestors taught us that when trust returns, prosperity will follow.
My father said, because you are from Ogwebwe family, there is something that is expected of you.
Yes.
So it becomes your culture. So anywhere you go, you want to do something, you say, if my father hears this, what will he say? So you find out that it's a culture, but now they want to liberate themselves from this belief. They want to break it because that belief will kind of engulf them, slave them into the things they want to do. Like knowing that me and you will do business and I have an opportunity to carry all the money and you won't see me again. And the only thing that's limiting me is culture and belief system. So the first thing is to kill that culture, so that nothing calls your conscience in order.
Wow. Serious. This is major. When you encounter this, what does that do to you?
It's an opportunity for us to think. And just like we are doing, you are providing a platform for us to talk.
Yes.
So this is what we are doing.
Yes.
Yeah. Jesus Christ started change. He didn't actually get the whole world.
Yeah.
He looked for 12 disciples.
12, yeah.
So we are journey of looking for those 12 disciples in the southeast.
Yes.
To get those 12 disciples in the southeast that will believe this dream and vision, that we can drive it in the southeast. One of the greatest gifts life will give you is the opportunity to get someone that will listen to your dreams. Not just believing in it, but giving you a pathway to it. Because I used my story, I told them story. I said, yes, the guy that actually mentored me, I might not have gained financially from it.
Yeah.
But if you look at all of us that passed through this mentorship, that majority of them got something very tangible. But I could look back and say, there was no tangible thing I came out of from this relationship. Yeah. But I think I got the greatest gifts. Because I knew what I wanted and the mentorship aligned with what I wanted. So I would say, yes, where we are today, getting across to you help to structure the way we think, the way we operate, and that drive to make impact, even when there seems to be nothing.
The truth is undeniable. Ndi Igbo is a gold mine of young talents and instincts. We must stop leaving our young ones to wander the wilderness of trouble alone. Let us build intentional systems to fund big ideas and restore the moral fiber of our society and make our homeland the powerhouse of the continent. The age of organized greatness is upon us. Ndi Igbo, this age is upon us. Now, go to the comment section and tell us what you think about mentorship, trust, or digital responsibility. Share this video from Enugu to London, Oka to Jerusalem, Owerri to Ottawa, Umuahia to Moscow, Abakaliki to Washington, Port Harcourt to Paris, Asaba to Beijing. Subscribe to Ndi Igbo Viva as we build our identity, our dignity, and our future.